Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome back again to Recap Kickback. It's me, your host, Chappell, and we're back again to talk about part two, episodes 4 through 6 of Ironheart on Disney Plus. That's right. We had a great time talking about it the first time. It was a good time. We went through the first 3 episodes. We had some thoughts, but we didn't quite know how the show was going to end. And so, to find that out, we have now assembled a panel, including my co-host, who is somewhere on this screen, I promise. Mari. Riri? Riri. Riri, you back there? Oh, there she go.
Oh,
No.
yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry. I
Uh,
just came back from a life-changing experience. Um,
oh, okay.
but I'm here to talk Marvel with you guys.
Look, Riri, my internet either tripping or your internet tripping, but I
We're
don't know
we're,
how
we're
far we're gonna
here.
get in this
You
with you
know,
glitching out like this.
we're prepared,
Are we?
and I'm so glad. What's going on? Talk all things Marvel?
Sure. Sure,
Yeah,
Mari.
yeah.
Jason,
There's no other big other news or anything.
Jason, welcome back.
Yeah.
Chappelle, thank you. I unfortunately have not had a life changing experience. I did not make a deal with the devil to go see Beyonce like Mari did,
A
apparently.
Faustian bargain, yes, per
Yeah, yeah.
usual.
Give her everything she wanted, including a Beyonce concert. But
He
I'm
goes
here.
by Mephisto. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who the hell is that supposed to mean to me?
Yeah,
Something.
yeah. Who's that?
Um, but yeah, I'm here. Happy to talk about the conclusion of this first, hopefully first and not only season of Ironheart. I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we will wait and see. I did see some articles saying that, if we watch it, they might give us another one. And so we did watch it. And to talk about the second half of season one of hopefully many, we brought in from the Was It Good Though podcast, one half of the Was It Good Though podcast, Jazz. Welcome back, Jazz.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to discuss these last 3 episodes with y'all.
Yeah, well, we have to get your thoughts about the whole series, but we're going to talk about all of it, big picture, some major plot points and all that good stuff. But we definitely want to thank everybody for being here. Recap Kickback. If you're watching, it's on YouTube, youtube.com/at Recap Kickback. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast there. Click like on this video, and then of course go and listen to the podcast feed as well and get caught up on all the things that we have going on. We're still got the Flavor of Love coverage every week live with Chantel. We've got our past coverage as well with all the stuff that Mario and we got, a lot more coming your way. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you can keep up all the conversation and more. So when we talked last, Mari, we were talking about how the
Mhm.
first 3 episodes had us wondering a few things, had some questions. We were kind of questioning the direction of the character, some of the writing choices that they were making. And we were saying, well, let's wait to see how it ends. Let's see what 4, 5, and 6 bring us. How did you feel about what we got from these last 3 episodes as far as the questions that we were asking about in the first half?
Um, I think we got the answers to the question. Again, 6 episodes always feels like a crunch. It felt like we said last week that they might crunch a lot into these last 3 episodes, and you could kind of feel that. And then to tease us with, like you said, like a possible second season, like I don't want to get my hopes up. So I don't know. I definitely think I like the first 3 episodes more than I like the second three. I'm thinking, but I'm really interested to hear all of your thoughts. So
Oh,
y'all might be able to change my mind.
okay, okay, okay. And Jason, you definitely had some questions about Riri as a character and what her motivations were. Do you think that the second half was able to answer that a little bit better for you?
I think the second half heard what I had to say and said, "We don't care. We,
No.
we, we don't care how you feel about Riri being a hero or not a hero." I think this is first of all, I think if we take the series as a whole, especially with the ending in 4, 5, and 6, how that went, it was just kind of weird. Like this is a weird
Mhm,
series to me. Like the way they treated things and the way they went about things was weird to me. And Riri is
mhm,
interesting because Riri, I think, is our first kind of a big focus on an anti-hero that stayed
Hmm.
an anti-hero all the way through the end. Because don't get it twisted, she's not a hero by the end. Uh, I mean, she literally made a deal with the devil at the end of the show, so
Spoiler
she's still not a hero in terms of what we think of as traditional heroes in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to think about, and we're going to talk through all of that. But Jazz, we have not got your opinions about this series so far. Like I said, we all broke down our thoughts about the first 3 episodes. But for you, what was it like, kind of watching it in 2 separate parts, or did you watch them all straight through 6 episodes back to back?
I watched the first half and then the second half the following week because I was not going to risk any kind of trailers or,
Mhm.
excuse me, spoilers. And I was just like, nah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, let me go ahead and get to it. Watched it, definitely enjoyed the first half, and it made me want to get to the second half as well. I kind of hate how Marvel put these 6 episodes in just 2 weeks, but that's just my opinion on that. I kind of wish they would have, at least after the third episode, did weekly drops. But I definitely enjoyed the series. I agree with you, Jason. Anti-hero for sure. And I kind of feel like the series kind of showed you that's the kind of character or that's the road she was going to be on, especially when it got to the end. You're just like, oh, I guess she didn't handle her trauma and grief and receive the effects of that. So it's kind of like it didn't give you that happy ending that you would normally get from a lot of Marvel shows. It kind of like, yeah, now we about to go ahead and do this to her. So
Hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way, but I wasn't mad about the choice. I really thought that it gave me a lot more of an emotional connection to the story than I would have had if it just like ended in sunshine and rainbows at the end. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. After episode 6, Mari, I lost a little sleep because I think she need her ass whooped. Like, where's my belt? Somebody get y'all niece. I was really upset. Like, wow, like
Yeah.
what do we've been taking it like where your praying grandmother at? What do you mean you made a deal with the devil?
Bruh.
When I,
You,
well,
you
yeah,
just
it made me think of Jason the whole time. I was like, why does she keep making these bad decisions? Like, over
you
and
just saw
over and
you
over.
just saw Parker turn into a demon in front of your eyes, and you're like, "Yep, sign me up for that." It's like, okay, cool. And also like, and I think it's interesting because when you think about the Thunderbolts, right? That movie also dealt with a lot of heavy mental health topics, and seemingly by the end of that movie, everyone's like, "Look at us. We healed our traumas with friendship and hugs." Literally, with a hug, they solved that movie. And this one is like, you know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to solve my trauma. Just give me my friend back, and I'll make a deal with the devil, and perfect, problem solved. So I thought it was very interesting, interesting difference between 2 recent movies and how they, I don't know, wrapped up their issues, solved their problems. I just thought that was super like different about like how this one went about it as opposed to Thunderbolts.
Yeah. To me, this is a very human response, though. I think that we would love to believe that everybody is just going to handle this. We're all going to go to the therapy. We're all going to go talk to the lady, and she's going to tell us all the stuff we need to do. And we're going to practice our breathing at home. We're going to take our meds and everything's going to be just fine. And that ain't the truth. People grieve forever. Sometimes you never get over that kind of loss, especially when it's as traumatic as the loss we see Riri suffer. And so, although I was shocked at what she did, you can kind of squint and be like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you haven't actually done the work to move on. Jazz, to me, it doesn't really feel honest if by the end she's like, no, I've healed. It's like, because girl, how did you heal? Just because you
right.
beat up the hood? Because because you like, what do you mean you healed? Now making a deal with the devil, that's a big leap from being traumatized, but it also doesn't make, it's not that far-fetched considering that this is a very hurt person.
Yeah, and I also feel like Mephisto knows the kind of people that he goes after, and he knows that he can make that deal with them. And I feel like Riri was an easy target for him, especially because I feel like he had been watching her through the entire series, but in the background. And so he knew what he was doing when he was just like, okay, yeah, Parker, I'm done with you. I got my next person I'm going to go after. So,
Yeah, I saw on the internet that Mari, there was questions about whether or not she really made this deal, or was it just kind of like given to us, spliced together. Maybe it's some type of dream sequence, or maybe it's supposed to be leading you to believe that she didn't. But in my opinion, she definitely did this. She definitely did this. I've seen enough.
Yeah, that's what I was at first. I was like, okay, it's just a dream sequence. We're going back and forth between the dream and the promise and all that. And then at the end, I mean, we leave off on her hugging her friend and seeing the curse, the mark of the curse, mark of the beast, whatever. And that's the only thing you can surmise is that she did make the deal. And in the state that she was in when she went to go find the hood and all of that, it's like like we said, it's human. It actually makes logical sense. But again, it's like we got no growth story here.
None. Well,
Not
and
at all.
the deal is confusing because it was like, okay, so did you make a deal to get the AI back or to get Natalie in the flesh and blood back? It seemed like you were surprised that Natalie
She
wasn't
could
an
touch her.
AI.
Yeah.
That she got more than she bargained for, I guess.
Mhm.
Gary is sitting up in heaven like, what about me? Like you couldn't
Oh,
you couldn't get a 2-for-1 deal? I mean,
Oh
I
no.
forgot about Gary. You're
I mean,
right.
everybody did apparently, except for her mama. Her mama definitely was like, "Oh, if you could do AI Natalie, could you do AI Gary?" She's like, "Nah, I can't do that." And her mama was telling her, like,
Yeah,
but listen, if you go
sorry.
sell your soul to the devil, you got to get back more than just your friend. You got to get your friend and your stepdaddy back. You can
haggle a little bit. She
a
was just-
2-for-1.
She took the
Yeah.
deal too easy. She's like, deal. Like, no, you got to also bring my
Yeah.
stepdad back. Like,
Right.
that's the deal. I got to heal all my trauma. I can't heal
Right.
just half my trauma. I got to heal all my trauma. I saw my dad die too. What about him?
Right. And I want my Tony Stark money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just
That's
be
what I was
talking.
about to say.
Right,
That's
like,
what
let
it
me-
is, the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm selling my soul. I'm gonna need a lot in return.
yeah.
Parker got a whole shitload of stuff. He got a lot. Give me
He's filthy
something.
rich. Yeah, he just blew it, but he was good. He was good. But my question is, and I guess Mephisto is clearly vague about this from the beginning with Jazz. Does Riri know exactly what she even gave up for this? Because he says like, "Oh, whatever it is, you won't miss it." But I think if it's my soul, I'm definitely gonna miss that. I kind of want it.
I would automatically assume he's talking about my soul. I don't even need him to come out and tell me that. But the funny thing is, Riri kept asking who this entity was
Mhm.
by Zelma and by other people, and they were just like, "Oh, maybe it's
Dormammu.
Dormammu." Yeah. And so like Mephisto's name never even came up to her. But my
Right.
thing is, you dealing with magic, you got demon entities moving around, so I'm just like, it just one of the terrible decisions that she made throughout this entire series. And I was just like, Riri, come on now. I was very disappointed in her when I saw it. I was like, nah, that can't be real. Then I was like, nah, she
Yeah,
did
it's like
that.
whether it's Dormammu or Mephisto or Beelzebub, whatever name, you're still dealing with
Right.
a demon. It's like, it can't even be, doesn't have to be the devil. It's just a demon. And like I said, it doesn't matter if he spelled it out for her, you're giving up your soul. She literally saw what Parker went through, like literal 2 minutes before this deal was made. And she still was like, yep, I'll take it. Sign me up.
Yeah. Mari.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Jazz.
No, do you think it was her arrogance? Because she always felt like she could just fix any and everything and not ask for help. Do you feel like it was her arrogance that had her thinking, I can make this deal with him and then somehow find a way to break it? But long as I have Natalie back, I'm good.
That definitely could be it, because
that track
she was trying to figure out at the end there. She was doing all these like calculations and looked like she had a lot of magic sigils going on there. So that could have been what she's trying to figure out, how to get her cake and eat it too, in a way, like have in the end not have to have the spread of this influence that Mephisto has. I could definitely see that being the case.
Yeah, Mari. You're a vampire expert over here. I know Jazz is very into the horror genre as well. Jason too. I think all of y'all kind of delve a little bit more than me. Yeah, I'm like, we and Jason we're not doing that, but y'all evil, so y'all like that kind of stuff. So like when you're faced with a deal with the devil, can you even really say no? Like, wasn't she just like enchanted by him immediately once he snatches her out of her pseudo armor? He's like, hey, come sit with me. And then she's with him. Like, what is her out here? Be like, nah, I'm good. Like, is he just gonna let her walk away?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, biblically, we do know the devil, has that riz, as the kids would say, the tongue to like really like promise you your heart's content. So it is really hard to forego the temptations. I took Jesus 40 days, 40 nights. But we going to church on this podcast.
Amen.
That's where Riri need to go. That's what she needs to go.
Well, it's her granny.
You need Jesus, girl. You need Jesus.
But I'm assuming if we're going by Marvel rules, like you normally always are like have an out. Now, once you get that out, normally that person is now going to be your arch nemesis and coming at you full force. But you normally do tend to have an out. So I definitely think she could have walked away from this and just have to be looking over her shoulder. Maybe she thought it would be better to, I guess, deal with the devil and know what she's up against by making this deal than not making the deal and him popping up somewhere else.
Yeah, it kind of feels like in these type of situations in movies, TVs, it has to be a deal that she actually says yes to, and it, like, not enchanted by someone to make it real, to make it pure. Like, it has to be a real deal.
Yeah, she shook on it, so it's real. And whatever we're gonna get, we really don't know. Jason kind of alluded to earlier that this might be one of more than one seasons, obviously. But if it's not, then we've introduced Mephisto into the MCU officially now via Ironheart. Meaning, and from my standpoint, and Jazz, you can tell me what you think. I think this makes Riri a more important character than she was at first. You know, I think that there were people who were like, I'm not gonna watch this, blah blah blah. Riri is now connected to one of the biggest baddies that we have in the MCU, and wherever he pops up next, I have to assume she's going to be involved too.
I think that's a safe assumption to make, especially being at when WandaVision dropped. A lot of the theories were Mephisto was going to show up, and WandaVision dropped 5 years ago. And for us to get him in this series, and a lot of people that I saw online had an issue with him showing up in her series, but they had an issue with the series as a whole. But we're not going to talk about them. But I completely agree with you. I'm excited to see what they do with him. And then also it's just like, well, don't leave her behind.
Right.
Because there's a connection there. And it's funny because in Agatha all along, you had one of the witches, Jennifer, mention an agent of Mephisto. And so it's just like, okay, you had a little bit of breadcrumbs in that series. And then you look at this and you just like, okay, we get Mephisto right then and there. And we see 2 possible agents with Parker and Riri. So I'm like, I would think it would be a terrible decision if they decide not to bring them back. But yeah, so
I would say this definitely made me want to. I haven't seen Agatha all along. I kept putting it off, but I immediately, once Zelma had introduced the magical elements, I was like, oh man, I really got to go back and watch Agatha because I love the elements of magic versus technology that was in this second half of the season. So yeah, I definitely want to go back and watch that.
If you like magic, you'll love Agatha.
Agatha was good.
Yes, that vibe you're getting in the shop with all the transportation to the underworld and all the talk there, that is Agatha all along coded.
Yeah, I love that.
For real.
Yeah, Mari, you gonna love, like, I know this about you. I've talked about enough shows with you. You gonna love Agatha. Like, it's not gonna be like you gonna go up for it. You gotta text me all your thoughts. But you brought up an interesting character, Zelma. Now, from what I've seen online, this is an instant fan favorite. Like, even the people who were like doxing the show, like, oh yeah, like they were still kind of like, well, at least they did Zelma, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love this character so much. Mari, what'd you think about Zelma?
Yeah, Zelma. First off, the actress looks so familiar. Like, she looks familiar, but when I looked her up, she wasn't in anything I saw, so that was throwing me. But other than that, I mean, how she talked about magic, just the magic tricks that she was doing, it was so interesting to me. Like I said, it immediately made me like, oh man, now I gotta go look up all the magic stuff, because she was a great like side character that really added to the overall project.
I was so excited when Zelma was introduced, because she's like a recent character that's been introduced in the Doctor Strange books, and I was like, oh my, like, I was shocked they actually introduced her in this way. Referenced Camartage, referenced everything that way. I was like, oh, like, this is really tying deep into the Doctor Strange lore. I almost wish they had gone a little further, and like a Baron Mordo from Doctor Strange had been like her father or something, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor in the original Doctor Strange movie. Like, I wish they had gone further than that as well. She is a great character. Like, I know it's not tied to this, but it almost felt like her look and her attitude almost like Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
like that was the vibe I was getting. Like, I don't think that's why she's named Zelma, but that's like the vibe I was getting. And she was like, had the attitude, was really smart, and she was just a really great presence in the show, a really great surprise, because I don't think anyone really knew that she was going to be in this series. And when she came on the scene, it immediately kind of stole the show from everyone in the scene. It was just so fun to have her in that back half.
Yeah, when I was doing my research for the first part of this podcast, I found an EW article where they were listed. It was like a character guide, right? And they kept highlighting Regan Aaliyah as Zelma, and so I kept skipping it because I didn't want to spoil myself. but they've been talking about this since episode 1, and she wasn't really in the first 3 episodes at all. You know, Cree Summer was, but she didn't get highlighted at all. But when she comes onto the scene, she's like magical and unapologetically magical, and that's the thing that kind of catches me off guard. Jazz, I'm so used to everybody trying to keep these kind of things about them under wraps, you know, like secret identities and all this kind of stuff. You walk into Zelma and Kree's shop, and it's just like, oh yeah, let me take you to another dimension real quick to answer the question that you haven't even asked me yet. So she was ready to go there. Whatever she learned at Doctor Strange's school of for magical misfits or whatever, she's ready to flaunt that here in Chicago.
Yeah, I was concerned about her at the end when Parker came through. I was just like, wait, you don't really know him like that. But I understand, like, the magical community, everybody is telling him to come to you, which I'm like, why is everybody giving him your name? Like, this man is a villain.
And it's like Riri didn't show her a picture. Like, stay away from this man. This is the man we're fighting. Do not approach him. If you see him, walk the other way. She's just like, oh sure, you want me to give you the secrets to all the magical elements? Come on right in. I'm like, no, not that guy. No.
Yeah, I was very concerned with her decision making in that last scene. I was like, this is not going to pan out well.
Yeah. Should she be concerned though? I mean, Parker coming to her and saying like, I need some abracadabra, and her basically proving that she can do magic just very quickly. I would think she should be concerned, but he don't got his hood no more. I mean, he just a random dude now.
Uh-huh.
Or is he?
I mean, listen, so was Stephen Strange when he started out.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has Mephisto's ear. So that would be the only thing that I would say should be cautious of him, because you never know. He might present something to Mephisto later down the line that would get his attention, which would get him back in good favor with him.
Exactly. So, that's what I was just about to say. Like a magic addict. Like he'll do anything to get that magic back, you know, and which could be screw over Zelma or whatever.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's funny to me because Zelma was the one who said it to Riri. She was like, you sure this Parker dude is good? She's like, yeah, he's just a dude who want a little money. That's all. He's just trying to get his coins up. She's like, are you sure? Because if he's that ambitious, and then that means he's probably easily manipulated by somebody like Dormammu, or even worse, Mephisto. And now here Zelma is in the last scene looking at this man like, so magic, you want some? I was, girl, what are you doing? Pay attention.
Like, get your customers' names. If she hears Parker Robbins, you're like, oh, you're that guy? You're that Parker Robbins? I just stay away from you. I will say, if this was like phase 1, 2, 3, I would be so excited about all of the things presented to us here in this end game. But now that we're here in phase 5, I guess we're still 6 and we're in. I'm worried. It's like, because this recent Marvel is famous for introducing things and never picking them up. And as we've talked about, the rollout of this Ironheart series makes me feel like we're not getting Ironheart season 2. So it's like, where are we picking this up? I do feel like we have some possibility in a Young Avengers / Champions to pick this up. I think that's where we can find this. Maybe the Young Avengers have to help Riri get Mephisto out of her, and by the end of it, she joins the team, and they all fight. They all fight a more powered Mephisto. That's actually like, because in the comics, Mephisto is a red being. Maybe like we see his true form, and they all fight him at the end or something. I think that's where we could continue this, but I just don't want it to be ignored like every other thing in the recent years of Marvel has been ignored.
They still owe me the Howard the Duck movie. Huh? What'd you say?
Right. Howard the Duck. who is the young Avengers? Like who are they again?
So it's basically the all the teen heroes we've seen, like Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, aka the new Hawkeye, Billy from Agatha All Along will be in that. His brother, who I don't want to spoil the show for you, so I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. So all these teen heroes we've been kind of collecting over the years, they can be in that crew, and hopefully Riri can be part of that, and that's where we can kind of solve this problem and get it fixed.
Even from a villain standpoint, though, I don't want to lose the Hood yet. You know, we just got him, and now of course we lose him in this series, but we saw the demon form of him too, which is true to the comic. Like he basically turned into like it's like I think the internet described it as like Wolverine, like you know when he's fighting Riri, she does end up winning the fight, but I'm like, hey, we had a good villain there. I really think that maybe depending on what Parker does with Zelma, he might be able to recapture some of that. I don't really know what happens next for him, but they kept him around for something, right? Like there's no reason why he should still be alive if we're not going to use him. And so to Jason's point, that's what Marvel does. They give us these characters, they dangle them in front of us, and they say they're going to be important, I promise. And then they're not. And so I'm hoping that we get some more of him, and I'm hoping we get some more of Zeke Stain. Jazz, what did you think here about Zeke and his transformation from, you know, Joe McGillicuddy to this android bad guy?
I was first excited to see him and Parker team up because I was just like, even though I didn't really want Zeke to turn on Riri, but Riri kind of screwed him.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
like he done got locked up, everything that he was trying to hide all come to light and everything. And so I was just like, you know, you got two folks who you were cool with, and now they're your enemies. I don't know. I was expecting him to be more outraged with Riri, but it seems like after their final fight in episode 6, they seem like they just need to, you know, talk over some drinks and they can get their friendship back up. But he just didn't seem too pissed off with her in that moment. But I guess we understand why, because Parker had him as a puppet for about 2-3 episodes. But yeah, I'm curious if we're going to see him again. They left a lot of characters on the table to where they could probably pick them back up, along with the crew members as well. I don't think we'll see any more of them unless we do get a season 2. But you didn't really kill nobody off in this show.
Right. I thought it would have made the Hood so much more badass and formidable if he had killed his entire crew. Like I thought when they got in that elevator, he would have like set the elevator on fire or something and shot all his bullets into the elevator and killed all his crew. I thought it would have made him so much more badass.
Ooh, yeah.
The Hood as he was, to me, felt a little underpowered, felt a little like by the end of it, I was just like, I mean, he was all right. He had daddy, his whole origin was daddy issues. I was just like, okay. Like I wasn't super impressed with the origin. I do hope they do more with him going forward because I do like the actor. I like Anthony Ramos, so I would love to see what they do with him going forward. But by the end of it, I was like, that's it. I tangent a little bit. For Riri to do all this that she did to get magic into her suit, lost Natalie because of it, and all she did was abracadabra the Hood into non-invisibility. I was like, that's it? You did all that to use magic one time? You could have literally, like you see those old cartoons, you could have put like some paint in your little gun and shot all around the room and painted them to see him or something. You did all that for one moment to make him not invisible. That was such a waste to me. I was like, you lost your best friend for one moment. I was like, that's crazy.
I agree. I think there's so much more potential that we could have got out of the Hood. I mean, we do get his like the one iconic moment where he's invisible, but then he pops up on her with the 2 guns. You know, like that's kind of like his signature look with the the 2 pistols. So I'm glad they gave the call back to that. But Mari, you and I, when we talked last time, you were saying that you saw the Zeke Stain turn coming. You were like, it's coming. And I was like, I kind of don't want it to turn. Like I know it's coming, like because he's a bad guy canonically. But I was like, I don't know if I need it. And I think we got kind of like the middle ground between this because he turned, but you don't feel like he really just hell bent on revenge.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. It was like a half turn. It's like he was turned for like 15 minutes when he was whooping her butt initially. He turned just long enough to destroy her first suit. Like, and then after she did all that other stuff, he was kind of like, we not cool.
Right.
We still gotta figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
But he wasn't coming for her head. So it was very like half-assed. But just quickly on Jason's point about like we have all of these actors, like Stain himself is actor's name is Ethan Alden Eric, who played Solo and was in Beautiful Creatures, one of my favorite books. Horrible movie. And then you have Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. It's crazy. Like And then, like we said, Anthony Ramos as the Hood. You don't get these level of actors to just use them once. I don't think like that would be a big old waste, especially since most of them are your villains. Like they have to. Like I'm really hoping they do something with it, but. The sad thing is, like Jason said, because of the rollout of this, I have no faith that we're really going to get an Ironheart 2. So I really don't want to get my hopes up. But it's like I know you didn't just waste these actors.
Shit.
It feels so wishy-washy.
This day MO. I mean, even if you think back to one of my favorite MCU movies, one of my favorite movies of all time, the Black Panther. Sterling K. Brown is in the Black Panther for like 3 seconds. What? We wasted Sterling K. Brown? You know, Forrest Whitaker is in the Black Panther. Angela Bassett is in the Black Panther. Like, it's like 8 Oscar winners in that movie, and none of them are alive in the MCU anymore. None of them. It's like, what? What are we doing, y'all? You gotta use these assets that we have. And I just feel like I can't trust Marvel anymore. And I think that probably is a big problem with the brand, is that they've done so much to where everybody kind of looking at it sideways. Like we go into them knowing that the baseline Marvel movie probably gonna be like a B plus. Like at worst, you probably gonna get a B plus, but we still be looking at like, well, I don't know about this. I don't know if it's gonna be any good. You know, and like it's like there's nothing that's like actively awful. I mean, some people just really hate the Eternals, but I don't think it was like awful. But for me, like
I hate the Eternals.
Right, I don't think it's awful. I just don't like it. But like, but like, you know,
series
when you go in, your expectations be so wishy-washy with them. You're not coming in thinking like this is the next Avengers. You're coming in like, I hope they don't mess this up. And so I think they just lost a lot of faith from a bunch of people. Or at least that's my opinion. What about you, Jason?
I mean, I think it's the double-edged sword of expansion, right? Because you're delving into more stories, you're doing more things, and you realistically don't have the time or money to keep track of all of these stories, especially if you're insistent on doing live action. You don't have the resources to keep all the stories going at one time. When the MCU was in its infancy in phase 1, it was so easy to keep track of things because you had 8 main heroes. That's what you had to keep track of. Now we have so much, but I think what they need to do is keep refreshing things, right? Even if it's not the main person's movie, let us get a glimpse of what they're doing so we can keep track of how they're moving in the world. Like if there's got like a news report in the background with Shang-Chi is doing this and this and that, like give us more. Let us make the universe feel alive, that it's an ongoing narrative, an ongoing story. That's what the first phases of Marvel did so well, and really what they've lost here in recent days of the MCU. I understand expansion is tough. It really is. But I think there's a way you can manage it and make us still feel like these heroes are in action. I think a big problem is that they have done so long without an Avengers team, which they kind of rectified in Thunderbolts, but I have thoughts about that.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's the main problem. Is you haven't had an Avengers team Avengering out in the world in the MCU.
I wouldn't be mad if they consolidated this a little bit. You know, kind of bring it back home. Stop expanding it. Stop bringing us all these random characters that you're not going to touch, and use the characters that you already have in front of you. You know, like all these people need to start meeting up. So at least we can start killing some folks off or explaining why they're not around. Because for a long time it was the characters that you met were going to matter, and now they just don't. Jazz, I have a question though about Riri and Mr. Stain here. Riri doesn't apologize to this man. Do you think that a simple apology would help, or is she just like, I'm a black woman, I don't do that? No, miss, I'm joking. It's a joke.
So I think Riri definitely should have apologized and took accountability for what happened. But then also, you mean during the fight or when she saw him in prison?
She never apologized.
She was trying to at the prison, but he cut her off.
I mean, if you just start with "I'm sorry," and not like, man, it's crazy that you in here. You wearing khaki style. Like,
you ain't put some money on your books. You like that? Just like want from me.
So a generic apology in prison would have been good, because her saying that she was guilty of everything, they record all those conversations, so that would have definitely been a terrible place for her to do it. But a full generous apology would have worked when she saw him when they were fighting. Now the fight probably caught her off guard. He got electric powers now. Like, this ain't the Zeke I know. Like, I don't know who this guy is. But no, simply apologizing to him and everything, yeah, that probably would have made him feel a little bit better, but his life just turned upside down when he met Riri. Like,
yeah, she ruined his life. I mean, everything he wanted to avoid, she brought it to his doorstep. You know, like the stuff with the weapons, being connected to his dad. Not only is he now connected with his dad, this man had changed his name to get away from it. Now everybody's calling him Zeke Stain, regardless of his name change. They're not acknowledging that, and they're saying, yeah, he's the bad apple of the family. His dad was the good one, and this apple fell off the tree, rolled down the street, and into the gutter, is what they said. I know he's at home
was
seething.
crazy.
Seething. You know, you gotta apologize.
I do think an interesting part of that whole story was that, I don't know if I realized within the MCU, is that the Obadiah Stane,
He's
erasure
got
is
a
like
beautiful name.
It's a cover up.
Yeah, they covered it up. They made it like he died in a plane accident. Not that he died trying to kill Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, who the whole world as a whole loves. I thought it was so funny how this and that really affects Zeke even more, because Zeke may know that what his father did and may be like, what? Like, I didn't even do anything. And y'all are saying I'm worse than my evil villain of a father who you all think is not an evil villain. That had to have been even more putting him in the dumps and in the pits. I love that twist of the knife in a way to really just kind of ruin him and his name. And yeah, like you said, Riri is the cause of all that, because she was so, I mean, she wasn't like careless, but she didn't really think about the ramifications of what she was doing in the moment.
Yeah, he can't. I don't even blame him for not, forgiving her by the end of this, because all of that too. He's now an iron suit himself. Like his body is now taken over by all of these same weapons that he wouldn't even touch this tech. And now it's inside his body, Maury. Like, I don't think anybody comes back from this without being a villain a little bit.
And again, it's like people making these decisions out of like emotion and stuff like that, because how do you go your whole entire life trying to avoid one thing, being very cautious around something, and then because you go to jail because like your name is now soiled, now you're like, oh man, no, I gotta put this stuff in my body just to get revenge, and then you don't even get full revenge. Like that kind of. Like, again, he just wrecked her shoot. He was 2 seconds away. There were so many times when Riri should have just been like a stain on the sidewalk. Like, I don't even understand how she got out of that White Castle without like,
bro,
you know what I'm saying?
So that's one of my criticisms. Like, how is it that the Blood Sims, who are supposed to be these like badass fighters, were able to be defeated by Riri, who has no karate training, no fighting training, nothing. I was like, how is that even realistic?
They were playing with their food a little bit. No pun intended. They were kind of little cat and mouse. They were having fun with her. But she does come out of this alive, basically going up against this family. Jason, in the comments, does this particular group ever link up and become like a crime syndicate together? Do they have a name? Is this a faction?
No, okay, I don't think there's any like established history of these particular characters being together. I mean, they're all characters in the Marvel universe. I don't think they've all like ever been this type of group.
The scene reminds me of stuff that you would see on like Teen Titans or like X-Men Evolution, where you have like the Brotherhood, right? Where it's like you got these superheroes who are not fully formed, but they're also fighting villains that are not fully formed and menacing looking. It's like they're kind of in street clothes. They're not really like, they're not tactical. It's just, it almost feels like they playing around, like, don't get me wrong. It's a deadly game that they're playing, but I don't know. I always like when a superhero has to fight outside of their suit when it makes sense. For this, I felt like Riri was dead. I was like, oh, there's no way you're going to survive this.
Slug just walked away halfway through the fight. It was like,
she said, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I love the interaction so much. Like when she flips the car over, she gives the finger while she's like up in the air, and then just bucks at her, and then Slug's like, you know what? I'm not getting paid enough for this. I'm just gonna go.
Exactly. I love when a henchman realizes they don't get paid enough.
I don't get paid enough. Yeah. Jazz, what do you think about the fight scene? Riri versus the entire whatever this crew is called, the Hood crew.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was funny. Clown might be my favorite out of the crew.
I do love her.
Yeah,
because Clown was like, I know you're not gonna think this locked door is gonna keep me out. Like, she got bombs everywhere on her. But I definitely love like the fact that Riri used one of her devices that she had her mom for protection to trap them in that bubble that she ended up rolling out of the way, which I was like, okay. But no, I feel like her and Clown's fight, I definitely enjoyed that. But then I was curious after Zeke let Riri go or didn't kill her, Clown seeing that, I was like, okay, so how are we going to reference back to this? And I thought Clown was going to end up getting Zeke killed, but turns out
Clown had a thing for Zeke. See, like Clown wanted to.
I had a thing for everybody. Clown was looking at Parker. Clown was a little hot.
But again, was Clown really mad? Her and what's the name didn't even get along.
Yeah,
John, didn't even get along. She like,
after he slammed her face on that table.
I think it was done after that.
Yeah, she said she ain't like him. They were figuring out their shit. Okay, like
she did say that.
Yeah.
That's what you got to say at the funeral. So Jazz, I got our fingers are crossed for a season 2. The reason I want a season 2 so bad is because I don't think we get any of these characters ever again if we don't get one. I think we could see Riri in the future, right? With Mephisto, like you've now put Riri and Mephisto lockstep, so she's gonna be somewhere else in the MCU. But I think it'd be a disservice to not ever get Clown and Riri on the same side again. I think that is like a duo that we were watching develop through these episodes. What do you think about maybe seeing some of these characters? I mean, any of these like kind of henchmen characters in the MCU again?
I would definitely love to see them again, especially being that you saw how things ended with them. And if we somehow get a season 2 and then they all come back together, talk about their issues in probably like less than 5 minutes, and then be like, okay, I need your help.
Help me out. Yeah.
Right.
It would have made so much sense if the crew left the Hood's place and ended up at Riri's place, helping her with the end result suit. Because that would make a lot more sense than the people she had help her with the suit because they have no technical know-how at all.
Like, her mother was supporting her.
How dare you?
Like Riri has all the emotional support she can withstand, but she has no actual technical support. Like Slug could be helpful.
That was helpful.
Yeah, Landon had his wagon.
Landon had his wagon.
And her boo brought the coffee.
Oh my god, he did bring the coffee. Oh my god,
that'd be like the 4 of us, and we find someone proficient in mechanics, being like, yeah, we're gonna support you. We're gonna get you coffee. We're gonna lug some sheet metal if you need it. Like that would be the 4 of us do the same thing with someone else that has some proficiency in robotics.
I can't help somebody who's proficient in Excel, so I know I'm useless. My LinkedIn is looking shabby these days. So yeah, I thought that this was a good crew for her, but I don't know if we ever get it. Like I don't even know. Like without a season 2, I think we're just gonna leave these particular characters. And I did think there was some very interesting interaction between her and kind of like, especially Clown. I think those were like the closest to, from my perspective, at least watching the season, is like maybe she could have a friend who kind of knows what she's going through, as opposed to her best friend being AI. Because the AI thing, y'all, I'm go ahead and tell y'all right now, it don't sit right with me. I mean, I really hate I brought my friend back to life. Like, like I said, my praying grandmother didn't sign off on that. But even the AI version of Natalie, I don't know, y'all. Like, your AI should not be able to make decisions for itself.
She was a little too sentient. She was definitely a little too sentient. It was like
from jump. She didn't even develop that.
This is bordering on like really Terminator stuff.
Yeah. Right. And when Riri introduces Xavier to her like that, literally as the scene was going, I was like, "What?
Right?
He should be mad." And boom, he was mad. I was like, "Yes," because why would you just let a hologram of somebody's dead sister walk up to them and be like, "What do you think? What do you mean? What I think? What is happening?" Like,
right? Yeah.
She didn't explain nothing and just was like, "Here's Natalie."
That was the thing, Mari. Riri told Natalie, that's not a good idea. I don't need you meeting him. He's not going to like that. Natalie went and got him, brought him to the junkyard, and then was like, look at me. And to me, I have to know, Jazz, do you think that this is Riri manifesting that Natalie will do this thing? Because this is her brain, basically, right? Her brain in AI form is Natalie. So is Riri giving Natalie permission to do this? Or is this her AI has just decided, I'm about to do this, and not only am I about to do it, when he doesn't like it, my feelings are going to get hurt about it. and I'm
Feelings,
gonna
her
leave.
feelings.
Feelings is crazy.
I mean, like when she was talking about the whole brain scanning with Zeke at the beginning of the season, he told her that was a terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like looking at that conversation, you kind of listen to it, but then it kind of just it leaves out of your mind. But then you see as to why it's so dangerous. And so with her able to make her own decisions, not listen to Riri when Riri gives her commands. I mean, she is very, very high tech and advanced. Where it's just like you see Ultron with Tony, and then you see Riri with Natalie. And you just like, if Natalie were to snap or do anything malicious or dangerous, I mean, it could get scary. But luckily we didn't see her snap or anything like that. So
yeah, I think a lot of the technology in this show was very kind of like hand wavy. Like don't think too hard about it, y'all. It's okay. like just don't think, because I mean, at certain points, Natalie was tied to Riri's emotional state. So just like I don't know how exactly that's supposed to work, but okay, sure, I'll ignore it. Cool. I would like Lyric Ross killed it as Natalie.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree
so
on
good.
that. I would love to see, like, I mean, if we're just fan casting shows, I would love to see just a show about the different AIs in the Marvel universe. There's so many AIs you can pull from comics. You can have Vision, you can have Natalie here, you could have Ultron or whatever.
Jarvis, yeah.
There's so many more you could pull from Marvel lore. I think that would be a lot of fun, just to see how all the AIs bounce off each other.
Okay, well, tell me if I'm crazy. I don't think Natalie has the decision-making ability to do anything. I think that she's AI, and she shouldn't. I don't think she does. I think that she is literally Riri's like subconscious or whatever, doing the things that Riri wants to do. I think that when Riri was having her panic attack, who would she want there to calm her down? If it can't be Natalie, it's probably Natalie's brother. So Natalie goes and gets him. And then, Riri's probably been struggling with whether or not she's going to ever introduce him. Because Riri is not mad at Natalie when Natalie does it. She's like, ain't this great, Xavier? Do you like this, right? It's like, no, you should be like, Natalie, girl, what are you doing? But I think that for me, it feels like everything Natalie did, it was things that Riri probably wanted her to do. And she was just enacting them. And it felt like it was almost like a separate person doing it. But there's just no way that's the case. Everything she did was in lockstep with what Riri wants, or and makes happen. And she was even telling her mom, this AI ain't real. It's just my brain. This is just my brain. And to Jazz's point, and Jazz, I want you to speak on this a little bit more. But when that conversation they had with Zeke in the very beginning, Riri was asking her, like, do you think it's ethical to do something like this? And his response is, if the person is ethical. And I think that based on what we walked away with her being an anti-hero, I don't know. I think Natalie's unethical because Riri is unethical.
I can see how you could definitely come to that conclusion. And then it also has me curious as to where it's going to lead us. But then also, if Natalie is no longer AI, then
right now
that fear of an unethical person with that level of AI subconsciously being able to control it, it could expand to something a lot darker and scarier.
I'm really worried if we were to have like a season 2 and Natalie is in it as her, like, as herself.
Demon
because she is a product of Mephisto.
She goes.
Do we get a situation of where Riri has to stop Natalie because Natalie is like a product of evil and is doing like evil stuff? That would be an interesting story.
That would be very interesting.
That'd be really good.
I need that. I need that.
You got Natalie and Riri going against each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what should she like? I need my crew. And she called up clowning them.
No, she still calls up Xavier, Landon, and her mother.
She can't even call Xavier because that's his demon sister. Xavier not gonna help her take down his demon sister. I do think he was a little too okay with this whole situation. Mario, if this is me, and I show up and you walking around with a hologram of my dead relative, like, you got to delete it right now. Like, I'm not like, yeah. Right now.
I'm not going to be in the room with it. I'm not going to be in the same building.
Yeah.
Because that, first of all, it would be too hurtful to be like, that's my dead relative that you're damning the name and visage of. Like, his first reaction was the right reaction to be like, hell no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. So that was 5 years.
I'm not dealing with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. on Jazz's podcast, they talked about, you know, the differences between Xavier and what he has going on and what Riri is doing. Mari, do you see a big difference in Riri's AI version of Natalie versus Xavier's listening to her mixtape? I mean, putting her voice on his mixtape and like going to that garage and kind of carrying around her headphones. Do you see a big difference in the way they're handling their grief?
Yes. I mean, yeah, it's two different ways to handle your grief. Like, he is using actual mementos from the actual person to help comfort him in probably the remembrance of, like, yes, they're gone, but they existed, and to cherish the time that they had. She is fully making up a hologram version of her based off of her own brain, Riri's brain, and it's just having her walk and talk like it's like everything's cool. Like, this isn't cool. Like, and I get that that's how Riri's processing her grief, but that's weird.
Boy, y'all, what I'm getting from this is Riri kind of sucks, right? Like, Riri's kind of awful.
I don't think she's actually processing her grief.
Not at all.
Well, it's like, how's she doing it? You're just trying to avoid the inevitable. I spelled that word all the way fucking wrong.
It's all right. We got it.
But she's just avoiding it when everybody else brings up Gary or Natalie. She doesn't want to talk about it. She gets defensive. And now you have this AI that kind of filled that void.
That memory.
Right. That void has been empty for 5 years, which is why Mephisto was just like, aha, I got a deal for you. I can go ahead and help you out with that emptiness in your heart. Because
how old is she again?
19.
I think she's 19.
Okay, so we gotta.
She a baby.
Yeah.
She a baby.
A 19-year-old genius can't be easy.
Yeah, bad girl genius. I think that to me, I think I draw the line at she's making new memories with Natalie. I think that's where I draw the line, right? Like, if you're looking back at like mementos, like Mari was saying, and like, you know, past memories, fine, whatever. But the fact that you won't move on and just look at those things as the past, they have to be the present for you. That's why she's selling herself to the devil, because now she has the physical embodiment of those memories. Like, now we about to do some new stuff together. We about to hang out. She's like 03 Bonnie and Clyde, like they you know, like they used to listen to. I think that's you know, no disrespect to Mari and Mephisto over there in that blue. But you know, but like I think
just admit it.
Mari, I seen you, not to derail the conversation, but I seen you at that concert with them kids that don't know Irreplaceable.
They didn't know a thing. Oh my God. Didn't know a thing.
Them the Renaissance kids. They don't know Beyonce. They don't know Baby.
The camera should not be flashing on you in the pit and you watermelon because you don't know the word. Like, I can't.
Yeah, okay. So we definitely get the story of grief with Riri that we don't really address. Like, she just doesn't address it. Like Jazz said, she just kind of suppresses it and moves on. And now she's not going to have to deal with it at all because Natalie is alive. But I enjoyed grief as a theme that they used throughout this series. Yeah. They've done it before in Marvel. WandaVision is all about grief. It just is. And so I love that they do that. And I love that it's always intersecting with magic. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's just because like there's this like otherworldly, like, you know, ability to talk about like, you know, like death, you know, it's like it takes you out of it, you know, like your present and the physical realm that we're in. So you kind of have to involve magic. But Jason, you've seen Agatha all along. I think Jazz, you've seen it for sure. I think y'all covered it on your podcast as well. Yeah. So not to get into any spoilers, but this is definitely something that I can see coming up in the future. Again, using magic in the MCU. You said we got the Doctor Doom and stuff like that. I don't know if it's going to come that soon. But Jason, could you see a world where we get magical Riri in the future?
Yeah, like I posited earlier, I could see a Young Avengers tackling that subject where they have to fight Riri at first, and then Riri joins them to fight Mephisto at the end. I could make the movie in my mind right now. So I could definitely see that being a thing. I could see it coming up in Armor Wars wherever we get that, if that ever actually happens. No. I don't think it's something we would tackle in a Doomsday or Secret Wars. We have a lot more to deal with in those properties, so I don't see it coming up there. I do think it's very interesting that Riri was this cross between mechanical and magic, because that's kind of what Doctor Doom is as well. So that's a very interesting parallel to draw. But I think we'll probably get it, like I said, either Young Avengers or Armor Wars or whatever the follow-up to an Agatha All Along is. I know we're going to get Vision Quest pretty soon, not pretty soon, but sometime in the future. I don't think we're going to get it there, because I think we're going to do some other stuff there. But I could see that it following that trajectory in the same kind of, maybe the Marvel TV series should just follow this track like as it goes along, and we just save the magic stuff for the series because they don't want to do it on the big screen for some reason.
Yeah, they've been keeping the magic around, Jazz, but they also keep the technology stuff going too. You know, like in this series, they reference Wakanda as a technology, Kree as well, Stark and Pym. I'm like, wait, when you start acknowledging Kree, you know, what does this world become? You know, have we really got to the point where like we just like, oh yeah, alien technology is normal. This is what we do. This 19-year-old girl, she's got it. She can just do this. Riri got a lot of intelligence. But she also has a lot of resources for somebody who don't got no money. Like she ain't got no money. We talk about it. We've already broken down that like Tony Stark has a lot of privilege that I guess people just don't want to acknowledge for him being a billionaire. But just the idea that she's a mouse click away from talking to Shuri if she wants to, you know, this is crazy. And we could do so much with her if we wanted to keep Riri around. So I'm hoping that she pops up in the future, Jazz.
Yeah, I thought they were going to bring Shuri into this. I'm not mad that they didn't.
Yeah.
I thought she was, because they were saying that they're going to get a surprise guest in this series, and I was like, so is she going to call Shuri? Like, are we going to see them? But I was excited with who we did see, new characters. But I'd be very interested. I'm not exactly sure when like Mephisto would pop back up. Jason, I do have a question for you, because are you familiar with like the comics and like deep
a little bit
down? Yeah. So now correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I saw online, does Mephisto have the soul of Doom's mother? Is that anywhere in the comics? Because I did see some theories, but I'm not too informed with that. And so like when I saw that,
yeah, that I'm not sure of. So that's some deep research to do for Mephisto. I could definitely see that being a thing.
Right.
But you know, there's been so much retconning and so many different storylines. Now, Mephisto does play a huge part in a big Spider-Man story. One of the storylines I hate the most, to be honest with you, and I think is kind of hated in the Spider-Man fandom. And it is interesting because the next Spider-Man movie is called Brand New Day, and that Mephisto story kind of branches off of a storyline called One More Day. It's One More Day, and then Brand New Day pops up after that. So I'll just talk about it. Spoilers for that storyline. If anyone ever goes back and reads some old Spider-Man comic books, basically what happens is, shortly after Civil War, Spider-Man's identity is out there. Everyone knows who Spider-Man is. And this leads to a chain of events that kind of ends with Aunt May being murdered, basically. And Aunt May. Old Aunt May.
Aunt May. Oh.
Yeah.
But not Ant-Man.
Not Ant-Man, no. So basically, Mephisto sees this opportunity with Peter and offers Peter a bargain. I can bring your Aunt May back. I can do that. She can be alive again. But as a bargain, I'm going to need your love with Mary Jane. So basically, Peter gives up Mary Jane in return for Aunt May. It's really a huge reset for the character. It is kind of what happened with Doctor Strange in a way, because in the MCU, I'm saying, because Peter, you know, at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, Peter ends up having everyone forget that he is Spider-Man because everyone knew that he was Spider-Man. And that's kind of the same thing that happened with Mephisto. So I don't think they're going to go back to that well. Right. So I don't think we're going to see a Mephisto in the next Spider-Man movie. I don't think they're going to go that far. But like I said, there's certainly places for him to show up.
Yeah, and to not spoil anything too much, I did a quick search on the Marvel fandom wiki. And I went to Cynthia Von Doom, Dr. Doom's mom, and Mephisto's name is all over that page. So we're looking for an entry. It would be nice if we got that maybe at the end of this month when Fantastic Four drops in theaters near you. But is there anything else y'all wanted to talk about from Ironheart before we wrap up? Mari, anything that's standing out to you that we didn't touch on?
No, I'm over here about to Google all the other stuff. I love Googling Marvel characters.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no. I just think we leave it with that Ironheart did. I found it entertaining. I enjoyed the series. It left us with a lot of open questions, open ends. So it's up to Marvel to kind of figure out what they want to do with those. But other than that, I'm very satisfied with the series and had a great time watching it and talking about it with you guys.
Yeah. Jazz, was it good though?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely enjoyed this series. I'm for all the folks that's just like Riri is not Tony Stark. Of course not. Two different
Absolutely
characters.
not.
Stop trying to think they're gonna have the same road. Two different backgrounds. She is her own individual character. So I'm just because people were like, "Oh, Tony would never sell his soul for this, this, and this. He would never kill anybody." I'm like, y'all know the history.
Yeah,
Right.
pre Iron Man, he definitely would. I would have loved to know if who else Mephisto has presented this bargain to. I think that would have been
the
a
Forbes. What is it? The Forbes top
Yeah.
100 people or something like that.
Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
That's what
But
he
like,
said.
who-
Yeah.
like who within the sphere of the MCU has he presented this bargain to as well? Like, I would have loved to know if he did approach Tony Stark at some point and Tony said no. I think that would have been interesting to see. And like you said, Jazz, Riri and Tony are very different people, but they share a lot of similarities. They have a lot of ego, a lot of arrogance, a lot of like, I can do everything myself. And I think it really stays true to the Riri in the comic books. Say whatever you want about Riri. This fits her comic book character perfectly because in the comics, she is also very headstrong, very arrogant. She's had her own demons to wrestle with in the comic book series as well. So I was very happy with how they kind of stuck with the characterization of Riri. Now, the Riri in the comics is a little bit more of a hero than this Riri. But I think, we're gonna get there. I think there is a plan with Riri. I really hope there is a plan with Riri. I hope and pray there is a plan for Riri Williams in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because if this was the end, I would be a little disappointed because it left us on a sour note. I think we have to revisit this in some capacity, in some way in the future. For those that have seen, I think Chappell and Jazz, like you've both seen all the Marvel series. Where does this fall in the ranking?
Well, I haven't seen Echo.
I'm going to tell you now, this is way better than Echo. I'll just share that with you.
Dang.
Echo is on it's at the bottom of a lot of people's list. I will say that. Oh. I might put it in my top 5. But I have Agatha and Loki at the top for sure. I definitely like Hawkeye, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier was pretty good.
Hawkeye?
I didn't hate Hawkeye.
Hawkeye was fine.
Yeah,
Hawkeye was
cool.
Mari
Hawkeye
hated
was
Hawkeye.
very, very
boring
fine.
to me.
Hawkeye was fine. I would probably put this above Hawkeye. I would put this above Hawkeye. I put it above She-Hulk. I put it above Echo.
Would you put it above Miss Marvel?
I would, yes. I wasn't that much of a fan of Miss Marvel.
I like Miss Marvel.
I don't know.
I like Miss Marvel.
I really love Miss Marvel, and Jazz. You're lucky Sasha's not here because she would fight you if she heard that. But I would put this right under Miss Marvel, I think.
So I like the historical aspect of Miss Marvel for sure. Like they take a whole episode to really get into some of the the issues with like the Pakistani people at that in history and stuff like that. And so it really dives a lot deeper than this does to me. This feels like we picked up in the middle of a story and then we ended off in the middle of a story too, right? Like if you just watch this, and I think they were talking about this on the Was It Good Though podcast, but like if you just turned on your TV and it's like, oh, let me watch this show, and you have never seen nothing else Marvel, I think you're very confused. You're like, who the hell is Tony Stark? Why should I care? Who are these people? What do they do? Like, what do you mean? Whereas like I think you need the context around the other stuff. That said, I do like this a little bit better than Miss Marvel. I like it better than She-Hulk for sure. I didn't finish Loki. I just kind of got bored. Ooh. I think it's just a bad time for me to be watching it.
You got to do that.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, I didn't finish Loki. Yeah, me neither.
The second season's the best one. The ending of the second season is the best ending of really a lot of Marvel series. You got to finish it up.
Okay, I'll go check it out. I think I liked it probably about as much as I liked Moon Knight, and I really like Moon Knight. So
I was not a huge Moon Knight fan. I gotta say.
Ooh, really okay. Maybe I have to revisit it, or maybe that's something we could all do later between
another character they just abandoned.
They don't care about.
Just like,
they don't care about. I'm not saying, look, not to be the woke friend, but is he a little too Egyptian? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
A little too African. No, I'm joking. So one question that we did ask in the first half of this was like Riri's motivation. Why is she doing this? And I do appreciate that in the second half we do learn that it's not that she just wants to be the best. She just wants to build a suit because she can. She wants the money. She wants to be better than Tony Stark. It was the trauma from that drive-by. You know, a lot of this was I was not able to protect myself and my family and the people that I loved, and so I'm gonna drag this suit around like Alicia Keys and a piano until I feel safe, you know, and I'm never gonna leave it behind. And I appreciated that because for 3 episodes, I just didn't know if I should be rooting for someone like this, right? Like if she was just creating to be creating, just I'm a genius and I'm a flex, you know, like this just built off of just ego or whatever. And she does talk about wanting to be iconic, and she talks about wanting to be good and wanting to create, but knowing that at her core, this girl is hurt, you know, and that she needs to heal. And she can't do that because she's always trying to avoid the feelings. She's always trying to avoid the problems. She's building super suits to keep that away from her, you know, and trying to protect the whole world like that. She wants this suit to go mainstream so that the defense is better. Like she's not doing this to go attack other people. She's like, no, you know how many people we could save, what first responders could do. And so it made me really root for Riri in a way that I wish I hadn't, because by the end she let me down. And so I enjoyed this so much. But I agree with all of y'all. They can't leave it like this. We got to get more Riri, because we got to know, like, look, we don't. They're not just gonna leave us being no like half-ass villain, bro. Like you got to give us a little something. You got to give us something, okay? The pickings is slim here, okay? Yeah, exactly, Mari. Like something. Give us something, because people out here hating on my girl, and I loved her. I love the last scene where they show her and Natalie, and she has like that signature afro that she has. Like that's the Riri that I know from the comic pictures, you know. So I was like, okay, bet we've made it, but there's so much more story to tell, and so hopefully we get that continuation of this story very soon. But we don't know that because that's just not how the MCU rolls. But this has been a great conversation. It's so much fun. I do think we got to assemble the crew and then start talking about nerdy comic stuff a little bit more. Jason, are you still doing comic book coverage ever?
Nope.
All right, then we got somebody at the helm of this. Okay, so maybe I'll reach out to Jason, and then Jazz, you can reach out to your Jason. Maybe he wants to come. Anthony over at Talking Ish. Mari, if you want to come in, you can do our Google so we can get caught up with everybody else. Yeah, and maybe we can reassemble these Avengers and talk about it. These new Avengers. But until then, Jazz, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, and can you tell everybody what is going on over on the Was It Good Though podcast, where they can find you and what y'all are talking about next time?
Yes. This week we dropped our Ironheart episode 161. Next week we are doing Superman. We drop new episodes every Tuesday. We review movies and TV shows. Me and my co-host Jason. We're on all social media platforms, and you can watch our episodes on YouTube. Chappell has been a guest multiple times, so
yeah,
y'all are welcome as always as well. Conversations have been great.
It's always a good time over on the Was It Good Though podcast. Jason, what do you have going on in your neck of the woods?
A lot. I go through podcasts like Riri goes through Iron Suits.
Friends, family, Iron Suits.
Yeah, exactly. So my main gig is called The Perfect Match podcast with me and Asia Welch. We talk about the show Married at First Sight. We just started a Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/Perfect Match podcast, you'll find us there. We talk about, at the moment, we're talking about older seasons of the show until new seasons come around. I'm also on The Good Pod, where me and my co-host Marissa Garza talk about the show The Good Wife. It is a rewatch podcast. It is a weird rewatch podcast. No one's really checking for that show anymore, but we decided to talk about it because we were bored one day. I'm also on a kind of a spinoff of that podcast called The Gilded Pod, where me and Marissa talk about the current season of The Gilded Age, having a lot of fun over there with the kooky, rich, old people. And that's where you can find me.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Mari, what's going on Crime Scene?
Over on Crime Scene, we are currently taking a break because yes, I had things to do. Um, so we are diving into the archives with a very good episode called "My Daughter's Killer," where we discuss the documentary "My Daughter's Killer." We discussed it with Beth from the RHAP Drag Race podcast. So you can go to crimescenepod.com in order to subscribe, and you can go to buymeacoffee.com/crimescenepod in order to just sling us a few bucks, buy us a coffee, support the podcast, because it costs some money for us to do this. So kick us a few dollars. But you can always come back, and we'll be covering more Trainwreck episodes. We're going to be covering Trainwreck, The Real Project X. We're going to be covering Attack on London, the 7/7 bombing. So over there we do a true crime review documentary review. So it's always fun. How about you, Chappell?
Catch me here, Recap Kickback, talking about Flavor of Love with Chantel every week live on YouTube. But schedule's been kind of wonky because she's a flight attendant and she be traveling, and I got some traveling to do too these next couple weeks. Friend of the podcast, Isaiah A Ball Bangers, is getting married, and so I'll be going to that event in Philly soon. So I'll be around. But yeah, you can catch me on Recap Kickback. You can also catch me on WeKnowRealityTV.com talking about Big Brother. Big Brother 27 is about to start, and so I will be behind the paywall over on RHAP on the slop every week talking to Rob Cesternino about Big Brother. It's going to be a ridiculous time. The cast has dropped, and so we are already in the trenches talking about this ridiculous ass show. And then Mari, you and I have to figure out what we're going to talk about next week on Recap Kickback. I haven't thought about it yet, but we'll figure it out. And then over on the
if we want to, we could see what Matt Scott is doing, because the Evolution 2 pay-per-view is this weekend, and it's WWE's second ever all women's pay-per-view. And one of the headlining matches, at least for me, is Naomi versus Jade Cargill. So, just throwing that out there.
Jazz, Jason is a wrestling guy, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, maybe we can get Jason. Maybe we get the other half of the Wasn't Good Though podcast on for something like that. I asked Matt Scott if y'all should be doing wrestling content over here, and he said it was your fault that y'all were not. So figure that out.
Well, whatever. You're not going to drive a wedge between us, especially since he knows he's the reason we haven't been podcasting.
I got the text messages. That's all I will say. And then you can catch me on the Nothing But Netflix podcast next week. Lavina and I are going to be talking about building the band. It's like making the band, but P. Diddy's not involved, and it's going to be on Netflix. I think they're going to drop it in 3 different batches, and so Lavina and I are going to talk about this new reality show over on the Nothing But Netflix podcast. You can find that on nothingbutpod.com. Until then, thank you again, Jazz and Jason and Mari, and thank you all for listening and subscribing and liking the video. Thank you to Beyonce, Mephisto Knowles, and also thank you for all the people who support Recap Kickback. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. I've been trapped behind Swan Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreamers. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.